Hi guys, and welcome to part 4 of our intensive behavior parent training series. We're going to pick up with what is reinforcement. And it's giving someone something that he or she may like, attention, social praise, food, toys, that increases the frequency of a behavior. And that's the key part. Giving someone something they like is not reinforcement. Giving something that increases the frequency of a behavior is reinforcement. It can be intentional or unintentional. For parents, that unintentional reinforcement might be you're on the phone with your husband, your wife, grandparents, and your child starts crying and screaming, so you hang up the phone and run over to calm them down. You're unintentionally reinforcing their screaming and crying behavior with attention. Praise may not always be reinforcer for our kids. Sometimes we have to pair that praise with something else until it becomes reinforcing. Good job, here's an M&M. Over time, good job becomes reinforcing. Why do we use reinforcement instead of punishment? Reinforcement teaches appropriate behaviors. Punishment only gives our kids what not to do. It teaches them you can't run away, you can't hit, you can't bite, but it doesn't give them anything to replace it with. It doesn't give them an alternative behavior to get that need met. Reinforcement helps people feel good about themselves. When my boss tells me good job, I am psyched. I am ready to go. When my boss yells at me, I feel beat up, defeated, let down. Reinforcement builds those positive relationships. You guys all want to have a positive relationship with your child. You don't want to be the punisher. Reinforcement helps build new skills. It teaches them how to request attention appropriately, how to sit for longer amounts of time, how to ask for a break. Punishment actually might elicit more problem behaviors. Crying, aggression, avoidance behaviors. When we start to use punishment, our kids might act out more and more. Secondary ways, we can start to see a lot more problems. And punishment will usually make a child avoid people and situations. We want you to have a positive relationship with your child. When you pick them up from school, we want them to run into your arms. We don't want them running away from you because they're afraid of being punished. We need to reinforce the positive behavior that we see. We want to reinforce appropriate behaviors immediately after. You guys have about 1 to 3 seconds after a behavior to reinforce it. After those 3 seconds, the child's done so many other things that they're on to something else. They don't know what they're being reinforced for. You have that 1 to 3 second window. It needs to be immediate. Be very specific with your verbal praise. It's not just good job, way to go. It is awesome. I love the way you shared that toy car with your brother, and it's very enthusiastic. Unless you have a child who doesn't respond well to that over-the-top loud praise, then you want to individualize it, quiet it down. Use various forms of attention. Good job, high five, fist bump, in today's world, elbow bump, pat on the back, quiet praise, thumbs up. Use those various forms of attention. We want to practice skills with reinforcement. Set up opportunities throughout the day to reinforce your child for doing what you want him or her to do. Walking past the refrigerator without tantruming for Oreos. Walk over and over past it. Give them multiple opportunities to learn. Our kids aren't usually what we call one trial learners. You teach it once and they're good to go. They need multiple opportunities to learn. Keep those reinforcers fresh. I love wrapping the toy they're working for in like Hanukkah wrapping paper, birthday wrapping paper, and then let them unwrap the reinforcer. It makes it super fresh, super exciting. Write on papers and put it in the envelopes, and you can pull out the social praise that you're going to use. I take the Game of Life spinner, and I'll put different reinforcer items, reinforcement phrases on the spinner. I'll spin it and then say whatever it comes on. Token economy, token systems. I'm a big fan of using token boards. Individuals earn tokens for following the rules. Each child in the house or adult in the house has their own token board. I love the way that you sat nicely for dinner, so you earn a token. Your brother didn't sit so nicely during dinner, so he didn't get his token, but because you sat nicely, you get your token. Number of tokens can be individualized. In my house, I'm not such a good cleaner, so I have to earn about 3 tokens for cleaning to get my reinforcer. My wife, who's a phenomenal cleaner, she has to earn 15 tokens to get her reinforcer. You can individualize it for each child in your house. Reinforcers can be standard, like a treasure box, or it can be individualized. I might be working for Dolphins tickets. My wife might be working for Steelers tickets. We have different teams that we like to cheer on and root for. It can be very individualized. So you're going to first pick the target behavior you want to reinforce. Then you're going to clearly define the behavior or behaviors and present them to your child in a way they can understand them. So we are going to reinforce keeping our hands to ourselves. And that's described as having your hands in your lap or hands at your side and not putting your hands on anyone else. You want to start with it being positively stated. We are going to keep our hands on ourselves. We are going to stay in our chair and we are not going to run away. Decide whether to use a token economy or a token system and choose the tokens to be used. So are you going to use stickers? Are you going to use pennies? Are you going to use pictures? They should be concrete representations. If your child's a little bit older, I really like shifting to money. If your child's younger, those pictures or stickers are fantastic. Make them fun. If you have a girl who loves princesses, make them princess stickers. You can have Elsa, Anna, Jasmine. If you have a boy who's really into Transformers, Bumblebee, Ironhide, Optimus Prime, Megatron, make the stickers themselves the tokens, reinforcing while they're working for the bigger reinforcer. Design a system for your child to be able to determine how many tokens have to be earned. Some of your kids might need to earn 5, some maybe 3, sometimes 10. When you're teaching this system, you might want to start, if they're earning 5 tokens, with them having 4 tokens. They earn the 5th and they immediately get the reinforcer. Then they start with 3, they earn the 4th and 5th, and then they get the reinforcer. And then they start with 2, they earn the 3rd, 4th, and 5th until they're working for all 5. Here's just a portable token system. This child's working for Skittles. They have to earn 7 thumbs up, and that goes with them everywhere they go. A little bit more individualized. The princess is working for, the conductor is working for. You put a picture of what they're working for on it. When they earn their 10 tokens, go ahead and give them that reinforcer. If you want any of these systems, feel free to email me at jonathank@jcconline.com, JOHNATHANK@jcconline.com. This would be if your child goes back to the school setting, a class-wide system. You could have a family store. If one of your kids only earns 1 token that day, it's okay. He had a challenging day at work, but he can still buy a lollipop or some bracelets. But if your child was a rock star today and earned 10 tokens, he can buy TV time, he can buy a toy snake, that's pretty awesome, a dinosaur. So every child can go shopping, but the better you do, the higher end store you get to shop at. I always like Wishmart instead of Walmart. You make a little store. It's a great way to motivate your kids. Determine what reinforcers are going to be used for the system. They should be individualized and highly motivating, and they shouldn't be something that you can't live without. So if you weren't able to watch last night's training on how to work from home with your child at home, it's on YouTube, it's on our social media pages. I suggest you check it out. If you need the iPad so that you can take a conference call for 30 minutes and your child's going to play on the iPad for free, not for earning their tokens, then that shouldn't be the reinforcer. That's called bootleg reinforcement. If I get it for free, why am I going to work for it? Once you pick how many tokens you're going to use, get started. Different tokens get you different items. The more tokens you earn, the cooler the item that you're going to get. And you want early on the requirements to be set low enough so your child is earning their reinforcers. If they're never coming in contact with the reinforcement, they're never going to keep working to get what they want. They need to come in contact with that reinforcer early on. When your child has a challenging behavior, which after watching all of these trainings, we're going to reduce those behaviors significantly, but it still might happen sometimes. You need to respond in a way that makes the behavior ineffective. If your child is hitting for attention, you have to minimize the amount of attention they get for it. Virtual school starts on Tuesday. If your child hits to escape virtual school, we need to make sure they stay in virtual school. Their negative behavior can't get them what they want, and make sure the payoff for doing the right thing is equal to or greater than the payoff for doing the wrong thing. So if a child hits for attention, and you're teaching them to say, can I have a hug? And when they hit, you give them 10 minutes of attention as you hold their hands down and yell at them. But when they say, can I have a hug? You pat them on the back and walk away. That hitting gets them 10 minutes of attention, and asking for a hug gets them 2 seconds of attention. We want to make sure that the reinforcement for doing the right thing is equal to or higher than the reinforcement for showing those maladaptive behaviors. When you're in crisis, less language is better. Please don't say, oh my God, why are you doing that? You need to keep your hands to yourself. You know better. Come on, let's go do this. It's 1 to 2 word sentences. Hands down, walk nicely. Good job. Less language is better in crisis. No matter what happens, we're still going to see those crises. You have to plan for them. Be prepared. When your child's in crisis, avoid physical contact as much as you can. When your child is escalating, if you put your hands on them just to block them, they're going to escalate. If they're in danger, minimal physical contact. Put your hand under their head so they don't bang their head on the concrete. But we're using minimal contact to do that. If you're still seeing behavior, it doesn't mean the plan has failed. We just might have to make some small changes. You want to make sure you're doing this with Fidelity. Give me a call, send me an email, let's go over it, let's make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do the right way. Set up regular meetings with myself, with your child's teacher, with their BCBA, whoever it is, to see what's going on and to review the data. Establish checklists or Fidelity. I think every family should have a checklist. Did you give a token today? Did you use first in today? Whatever those strategies are, and you can review at the end of the day how you did with these strategies. Thank you for joining in our 4-part series. Monday will be toilet training. I hope to see you guys there. Have a great weekend, everyone.